Is passive income a scam? Let's have a look at it in detail. Let's have a look at 9 strategies advertised on the internet, and I'll give you my views on them. Then let's look at the 7 streams of income that millionaires use to get themselves to be wealthy. But before we do any of that, welcome to this week's edition of Money Matters. And clearly, passive income, income of any kind, is money, and that's why it matters. So let's start by defining what is passive income. Passive income is like the holy grail. It's the nirvana. It's what we all want. We want to receive money in exchange for none of our time. What could be better? That's why it's so much talked about. And especially in a world where so many people are working so hard in a job that they don't like to receive a pitiful amount of money that they know they can never retire on. So of course, everybody's looking for a side hustle. Nobody's got enough time, so they want passive income. This is one of the most popular videos on YouTube. This video has received more than 12 million views. And this guy is talking about 9 streams of passive income. So let's just take them one at a time and let's see, are they passive? Are they income? And what's the angle? Investing in stocks and shares. What do you need to be able to invest in stocks and shares? We need money. You can't borrow money to invest in stocks and shares. You have to have money. Let's say you wanted to earn £70,000 a year. Well, the average return long term from stocks and shares is 7%. So if you wanted to earn £70,000 passively from stocks and shares, you certainly could, but you'd need to invest $1 million. In order to make stocks and shares passive, you'd need $1 million. And of course, stock markets can go up, they can go down. So 2022 was the worst year on record for stocks and bonds. Are stocks and shares a passive income? Yeah, but you need a stack of cash or you can't play in that game. Number 2 is starting a YouTube channel. Well, I know all about that because I am a YouTuber and I started this YouTube channel, I think about 6 years ago. I believe I give very good content. I love it, but it ain't passive. I actually have to put in time to what am I going to say, then doing the filming and all this stuff. So is it passive? No. The only way you're going to receive a decent income from YouTube is by continually being on it. Does it actually give me any money? Not really, not directly, certainly. I can use it perhaps to advertise my other businesses and offer people things. Is it a passive income strategy? No, it fails on 2 counts. So there are ways to make money on YouTube, but you pretty much got to be prepared to do what the public want, and that's not always very nice. Number 3 is starting a podcast. 2 of my mates are, well, one's a team owner for Formula 1 and the other one's a Formula 1 driver. These are people with a global following. They do a podcast every week. They love it. They get loads of people downloading the podcast. Super famous people doing a podcast. That's not passive. It requires time because you've got to go to the recording studios, you've got to write a script, you've got to interview people. And is it income? Are there 1 or 2 or 10 people in the world that make money out of it? Yeah, there's a few people in the world that make money out of everything. Is it a strategy for the normal man or woman? No. Becoming an affiliate marketer. What does that mean? Essentially, it means promoting other people's goods and services online. Normally, I decide that I'm going to start selling leather folders with a nice pen in, or whatever it is by some fancy brand. I set up a website to direct traffic to them and they pay me money. In 2004, that was probably possible. I started a digital marketing agency in 2004, a franchise. I ran it for 6-7 years and I sold it. The time that worked has come and gone. Affiliate marketing, seen all that before, did it myself, made some money out of it. But again, was it passive? No, it was a job. Did it provide me with any income? Yeah. Did it make me a multimillionaire? No. Why don't you sell a digital product? Well, like what? A book? A course? Do I do that? Yes. I started a company with Annika, my wife, to do that in 2014. It's called Touchstone Education. We have within the group more than 70 people, all of which it's a full-time job. In order to do it, we had to start a business which is now a multi-million pound business, and it's got a load of staff, and it is certainly not passive. Does it give you income? Yes. Selling a course. All right, well, depends a course on what, doesn't it? Selling a course on how to groom a dog, selling a course on flower arranging, selling a course on knitting. I'm not saying you can't do these things, by the way, and I don't mean to be dismissive, but the value that you can sell the course for depends on the value that you're adding. Now, the reason people value Touchstone Education courses so highly and that they're willing to spend thousands of pounds is because they use that content, that material, to invest in property and to make hundreds hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds. So will people pay happily thousands of pounds in order to make hundreds of thousands or millions? Of course they will. Will they spend any significant amount of money to do something that doesn't make them a lot of money? No. To create the course, is that passive? No. Is it passive once you've created it and you continuously sell it? Kind of, as long as you've got full-time people in a department doing things like marketing and sale and operation. Is it income? For sure, as long as it's the right course. Number 7, starting a paid community. An example is Slimming World in the UK. Slimming World is being run, I believe, 45, 50 years by the same lady. She started it up and people go along, they meet in the church hall, or, whatever it is, £5 a time or whatever it is. They get weighed, they get a pep talk, and it's a good thing because it helps them to lose weight. That is a business. It's a massive business. It's a 1 billion a year profit business. Is it possible for the normal person to start a business on the side, passively, that builds a massive community that gives them billions of pounds? No. Building an online community, certainly not passive and probably not much income. Number 8, starting a business and automating. That sounds easy, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Of all the millions or possibly tens of millions of businesses in the world, how many are totally and absolutely automated and the owner just lies on a beach sipping pina coladas? I don't know any. Even if it's a very successful business like a number of ours are, Annika and myself still want to know what's going on. We're not just going to let our business just drift off into the sunset and we're going to totally ignore it. For most of our businesses, we probably work in the sense that anybody might understand work 3 or 4 hours a month. We might go to a board meeting for a couple of hours. We might have the odd phone call with one of the directors or something. But it's still not truly passive in the sense that you don't do anything. There's always some time involvement if you're interested in your business. The people that start those businesses, the entrepreneurs, they'll do 2, 3, 4 times the normal amount of hours that an employee would do. So it certainly isn't passive. Will it provide you with income? If you've got a winner, if you've got a world-class business, of course. Leave the best till last. Number 9, it's got to be the good one, hasn't it? What's his advice? Build a website or an app. All you need to do is think of a little idea like Stripe and you'll be a billionaire. Yeah, okay. So number 1, is that passive? Absolutely not. Number 2, have you got massive competition? Number 3, do most of these businesses or websites or apps fail? I've seen so many of them because I spent from 2004 to 2011 offering websites, offering apps to people that had these business ideas. And I can tell you, I made more money providing the technology platform to them than they did. Of those 9, are some of them passive? Yes, as long as you've got shed loads of cash. Are any of them passive and income? I don't think so. Let's have a look now at the IRS. So this is the US HMRC. This is the tax authorities in the United States. They published a study of the 7 streams of income that millionaires actually use. Number 1 is dividend. What's dividend? Dividend is how profits get paid out from a company depending on share ownership. This is critical to millionaires because they're not doing these things in their own name. They're using limited companies, they're using LLPs. Most of the time, it's their own shares in their own company. Again, Touchstone Education can teach you about all this stuff if you don't know it. So you need to know how to structure a company so you can take money from it tax efficiently. Number 2, you can't make this up, rental. What does that mean? It means millionaires almost always have got property portfolios. They invest in property. They own the asset, the house, the flat, the factory, the whatever. They've bought the bricks and mortar, they receive income. Is that passive? You need to do whatever you needed to do in the first place to come up with the deposit, get the mortgage, buy the thing. Once that's done, can you leave it to professionals? Yes. This is the first stream of income that we've come to that can be truly passive. Number 3 for the millionaires is interest. Most people pay interest on credit cards, on personal loans, on car loans, on whatever. Rethink that for millionaires. Millionaires have got spare cash. So spare cash can be used to generate interest. It can be lent out to people. It could be invested in a high interest savings account. It could be put into many, many different vehicles. So they receive interest as an income stream. I would argue that interest is truly passive. But again, you've got to have done something to have money that you can then get interest paid on. Capital gains, now we're talking. What kind of assets, what kind of things can you buy that go up in value or you receive money from? Gold, stocks and shares, but also artwork. I mean, so there's a class of assets that you can invest in that have got good capital appreciation, and they can either provide you with revenue, with rental at the same time, but maybe they just provide you with pleasure. Number 5 is earned income. Now that's going to fail the passive income test straight away, isn't it? Because you're swapping your time for money. So if you think about, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton, one of my all-time favorite drivers, his driving contract with Mercedes is a rather eye-watering 50 million a year, plus minus. But he's still got to give his life for it. So is it really good income? Yes. Are there structures he can use to reduce his tax because he lives in Monaco? Yes. Are there structures he can use to reduce his time commitment? No. Employed income, by its very nature, involves swapping your time for money. Therefore, it is not passive. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean it can't be fantastically lucrative, but it ain't passive. Number 6, royalties. What's royalties mean? If you're Elton John or one of the Beatles, royalties means you've recorded something, you've only done it once, it's been there for 40 or 50 years, and you still get royalties from it every time someone plays it. But it could be royalties in the sense of brand, right? So back to Lewis Hamilton again. Lewis Hamilton gets money for driving, but he also gets money for watch companies that want to, well, in fact, it's this watch company. He endorses this watch company. You can allow your images or your image rights to be used to endorse another product or service, and you get paid for that. That's almost passive in the sense that you might have to go and do a photo shoot or something once. But when you've done that, then it's certainly passive. Last, but by no means least, number 7 is business profits. Almost every wealthy, successful individual, millionaire plus type person has got one or more businesses. 96% of people in the UK that are landlords, they've done it as private individuals. It's only 4% have invested as businesses, through limited companies or through LLPs. This is the heart of it. Whatever you do, you have to structure it correctly for growth, to make it passive, to be tax efficient. All of these things are super critical if you want your income to be passive and if you want your income to be efficient. In closing on, is this passive income thing a scam? Whether they're scams or not, the first 9 that I shared with you from the 12 million view video are either not passive or they're not actually an income. Or they're incredibly difficult to do. So you'd have to have ridiculous amounts of luck, or you'd be better off trying to win the lottery. The millionaire streams of income, they're different. Many of them are passive and they certainly provide income. What they all require, however, is discipline, education, support, and training. If you want to tick off many of those 7 streams of millionaire income, you need to get yourself along to Wealth Through Property. It's a 2-day course. You've got 2 choices. You can do the foundation version, which is the introduction, the getting started version with some of the other coaches and trainers within Touchstone Education. Or if you're ready for advanced, if you want to cover all 7 of those streams of millionaire income, then come along to Wealth Through Property, do the advanced one, and do it with me. 2 days to change the rest of your life. I want you to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Is passive income a scam? No. Are many passive income schemes scammy? Yes. As always, the skill here is to pick the wheat from the chaff, is to focus on what's going to make you wealthy as opposed to what's going to make you frustrated. My name is Paul Smith, Touchstone Education. You've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you next time.